Episode 1, what I wish I knew earlier. It's not too late to pursue an industry career. I hope that y'all are in the right place. I'm hoping that you guys are. No, I'm playing. We're super excited for you guys to be here. This has been a long time coming, right, guys? We're here, okay. And like Matt mentioned earlier, school's pretty much started for a majority of us, if not all of us. I see how y'all doing, the schools, classes, everything's going okay. I hope that you guys have an amazing year. And we're really excited to just keep on talking. And hopefully you guys are looking forward to the school year. Let's go on and go ahead and transition to the next slide and introduce ourselves. We are the Pharma Collective. We are 4 of the Pharma Collective. You guys are also a part of the Pharma Collective, but we are the founders. I guess we can go ahead and start. My name is Mocha Tuwaldet. I am a P3 PharmD MBA student at High Point University. My current interests are in the commercial, potentially market access or marketing. I'm still trying to figure that out. So yes.
And I'll go ahead and jump in. My name is Matthew Otule. I'm a third-year pharmacy student out at Texas Southern University out here in Houston, Texas. Super interested in the medical affairs side with the focus on becoming an MSL.
I'm muted. Okay. Hey guys. So my name's Tatiana Hines. I am a P3 at UNC Chapel Hill. And I am interested in pharmacovigilance primarily, and also interested in regulatory affairs, trying to learn some more about that. Thanks for coming.
And what's going on, everybody? My name is Joseph Kalu, P3 at Howard University College of Pharmacy. Current interest right now is clinical research and development. So hopefully try to, find my niche, find what phase I can enter. So it's a little bit about us. So we're gonna go ahead and move right along to the next slide. Welcome everybody that's still coming in, and stay tuned. So. All right, so we just want to put this out there, like our affiliations are, we all have each our own respective affiliations, coming from different schools, leaders of different organizations, but right now, actually none of that really matters. Like right now, we're coming to you from our homes, hats off, IPHO hats off, SNAFA hats off, just, giving you our views and our opinions of what we feel like is most important to help out the next generation of pharmacists coming up or next generation of students coming up. So like, I wouldn't say take our opinions to heart, but take it as if like you're just talking to another student. Don't take it as if we're the heads of an organization right now. Like, and we just want to put that out there so nobody really, feels some type of way about what we say, and just respect what we have to say at the same time also. So let's keep it moving. Oops.
I'm definitely muted. So sounds good. But so now we have a couple of goals for today's show, and that's just kind of simply to provide, to encourage, as well as to understand. First off, we kind of just want to provide a place for students to start. We know that there's a lot of resources out there that you all or that's available to students whenever trying to first get in industry or get into pharma at all. And we just kind of want to provide like a beginning to that. So like, where do you start? You don't know where to start if you don't really have those resources. We want to encourage students just to continue to seek out these available opportunities. Someone's going to do it, right? I mean, you don't want someone else to pick up on these opportunities, and kind of just don't want these to go by the wayside. So it's important to actually be intentional on getting these opportunities that's out there. And lastly, just kind of understand there's a question, the question of why students, or why there's such hesitation for students whenever they're kind of looking into different career paths. So yeah, just stay tuned with us. We're looking to have a good show. And we're really glad that everybody came out to do this with us.
All right, so we're just trying to gauge how everybody feels about industry, where your head is at right now, during your time in school. basically how you feel about industry in a whole. So we got a couple poll questions real quick, nothing too hard to think about, and just answer it to how you feel right now, right? So first question on the board, do you know which functional area you want to pursue?
And I think it's going to allow you to go to the other two questions that we have too. So we'll definitely share those results as well. So the second one is, what functional area are you most interested in? And there's multiple choices. And then the third is, do you feel properly prepared to pursue a pharma career? The fourth one is, are you interested in fellowship or a direct entry job post-graduation?
It's the I just want the money for me, the realness. I love to see it, guys.
Also, shout out to Dr. Ando, who just dropped in the chat. We appreciate you. Thanks for joining, Kofi.
My God, guy doing his thing out in Wisconsin.
Yes, go ahead, Dr. Ando.
Okay, we'll just give it about another 15 seconds or so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving the amount of I just want the money though. Honesty is real key.
Nah, they real about it.
They're real about it. No,
Real about it.
Okay, so
it's all good, Takara. We love the honesty.
exactly.
The coin, exactly.
So the first one, it looks like, I'm not sure if you all can see the results, so my apologies, but we'll just get through it. But the first one is, do you know which functional area you want to pursue? And this was split into three. So you guys, some are very certain, some aren't really quite sure, and some are almost there. So we love to hear that, and we definitely understand. I think the four of us also fall into that same boat.
All right. And real quick, before we go on to the next poll question, can we kind of gauge what class y'all in, if y'all P1 or P2? Because that probably does have to do with some of the answers also. So
exactly.
If y'all could just drop where y'all at and what school y'all coming from, that'd be great.
Where y'all at as well, definitely where y'all at.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the full spectrum in the house.
Yeah, PY3, UNC, go Heels.
HPU, okay, Takira, I see you, girl.
Florida in the house.
Awesome.
Auburn.
We're all over the US.
Yeah.
All over.
FAMU. Okay, right there.
In the South, P4, P3.
We know where you at, Shenandoah.
Okay, awesome. It looks like we have a lot of people. So I think this is really great to see the distribution of people that we have. And, you could be a P2 and know exactly what you want, or you can also be a P4 and you're still not sure, and that is okay.
Right.
So thank you for joining us and at least allowing us to help you make that decision a little easier, hopefully, once it comes to mid-year. So the second question is, what functional area are you most interested in? And it looks like our top ones are medical affairs, regulatory affairs, and pharmacovigilance. And then we also have, clinical development is after that. And then PV and HEOR are tied. So that's awesome. We're definitely trying to give you guys a span of information. So you'll definitely see a lot of things that are within each functional area. And then the third one is, do you feel prepared to pursue a pharma career? And a lot of people said no, but I will soon. And honestly, that's the same for me. I am not ready yet. I don't know if I'll ever feel ready, even as a fourth year, but we're going to get there together. And then, are you interested in fellowship or direct entry post-grad? And I think, again, it's split to where we just want the money, like we just want them coins, and that's fine. And we're also going to try to help and educate us for the opportunities that pharmacists have to either go through the fellowship route or the direct entry route. So thanks, y'all, and definitely stay tuned for more in the future with that.
All right, let me go ahead and this. Oh, there you go.
Thank you.
Proud. So moving right along.
Yep. So today we are going, okay, sorry. So today we're here to help you jumpstart your journey to the pharmaceutical industry. And for today's webinar, we will discuss academics, student organizations, and external organizations as well, how to build valuable relationships, also talking about your digital presence, internships, and then we're going to end it with some Pharma Collective news. Okay. So this is just a pharmacy school dashboard. I think that it's sometimes great to, just see certain milestones that you can hit within these years. This is not saying that you have to have an internship your P2 year. This is also not saying that you have to have work experience by your P3 year. These are just things that we wish that we would have known, and we kind of tried to categorize it the best we can by year. Sorry to those that are in, I guess, joint programs to where it's like P4, P5, P6. So I guess this would be like P6 to P2. So just basically going down the list. So P1, it's really important to focus with your academics. And you can see that we have academics for all three because your first 3 years are your didactic experience. And we'll also touch base onto that a little later about the importance of that. And then also making sure that you're performing your best on your rotation experiences with your IPPEs and your APPEs. For your P1 year, it's really important just to explore the different careers. You may think you know what you want to do, and then by P4 year, it completely changes. So first year, I swore I was going to be a clinical pharmacist, and I had so many different ideas, and I didn't even think that pharma was an option for me. And then also just joining organizations. For P2, it's almost the same, but trying to, start networking a little bit, going to professional conferences like SNAFA, shameless plug, and then also trying to gain some leadership roles and hopefully acquiring an internship experience. And for P3, pretty much the same thing, but also getting ready for fourth year, just so you got, I'm sure you guys know, like, August has flown by already. Next thing we know, mid-year is going to fly by. And you're just going to think, like, where did all the time go? So we think that it's best, to start preparing for that during your P3 year as well. And thinking about where you want to complete some of your APPEs. Also, possibly doing research, getting some work experience and networking. We have that in quotes because networking is, I guess, a cliche term, but we like to say building valuable relationships instead. And for fourth year, you're really just focusing on securing the bag at this point. You're going to mid-year, you're doing your APPEs, you're researching programs and companies that you could really see your values aligning with. And then you're getting ready for interviews, whether that's for a direct entry job or for a fellowship. And then, of course, license your exams because you didn't go to pharmacy school for nothing. You got to get that all those licenses, your MPJE and your NAPLEX and stuff like that. We can go to the next slide.
All right, guys, let's transition on to our first point of the evening. Let's focus on our clinical skills. I mean, the reason why PharmDs are so valuable to the pharmaceutical industry is because we have that clinically trained, we are clinically health trained professionals that have real world exposure to patients. And this is really what pharmaceutical companies need. We have that technical knowledge, the chemistry, the pharmaceutics, and the pharmacotherapy of drugs. We are literally the medication experts. So that means while students are in pharmacy school, it's really important for us to take every opportunity to really digest the material that we're learning in school and then utilize it outside of the classroom. So we're able to speak upon it, leverage ourselves, leverage our experiences when we are into those interviews, those in our meetings at work in the industry field. So how can we take full advantage of our pharmacy school experience? Well, one, academics. This really means studying, making sure that you're taking the time to actually understand pharmacy concepts that your pharmacy professors teach you. You're not just studying for the test, you're studying to be able to kind of fill this toolbox of knowledge that you're able to pull from when you're, like I said, like in the workspace. I hear all the time students saying that, you know, the NAPLEX isn't really required for jobs in the industry, so I'm not going to take it. Like, wrong. I think that that means that in pharmacy school, you should go harder, because the more you know, the more you're able to speak on, the more academic wise and clinically you're able to apply it when you're in the field and with patients, while you're doing all these volunteer opportunities with different organizations. You're able to pull that knowledge and pull it to that experience and be able to really speak upon it. And that's what's really going to be those interview questions that you're going to pull from when hiring professionals talk to you, when they ask you what was the time where you had a difficult experience with the patient. They're going to expect you to know what you're talking about because you now have that PharmD. And so that's why it's really important to be able to focus while you're in the classroom. And, you know, sometimes pharmacy school is hard. Like, it's not easy. Like, for you guys to even be in this position right now, that says a lot about just how much of a hardworking student you are. But everyone needs help. And that's why there are opportunities for you to have academic support out there. There's such negative stigmas around having tutors. Like, no, I find it very admirable for you to go out and reach out and get a tutor. I have a tutor. I need help sometimes. Sometimes being able to go out and take that courage to do that only sets you up to be in the best position for yourself to be able to understand the content. So I definitely think it's rewarding. Also, making sure that maybe you're picking productive study groups. You know, don't pick people that you know that are going to be, you know, lollygagging around, talking about football, watching Love and Hip Hop, you know what I'm saying? Like, pick people that you know that are going to be focused and dedicated and actually want to go over and review with you. And then I think that it's super, super important to go to office hours. I think that's a time where professors are really wanting you to come in and they're going to break down things to you in a such much simpler way. Sometimes in class, I get lost because content's going by so fast that you don't really get a second to really digest that information. Going to office hours is a great space for you to go in and kind of get things slowed down to you. And then your pharmacy professors also see that you're actually wanting to learn, and you never know, they might end up writing a recommendation for you because they, you know, really see the benefit and the hard work that you're putting in, and they can attest to your character now. And then moving on to electives, some schools have pharmaceutical industry focused electives, which is an amazing opportunity. Take advantage of that. Research electives, drug and development electives, and even some type of like pharmacy management elective. Utilize that. That's going to prepare you for the pharmaceutical industry. That's going to give you that academic toolbox to be able to really understand industry. Some people that wouldn't be able to do that. But if you're like my school that doesn't offer pharmaceutical industry related electives, pick an elective that's related to a disease state that you're super passionate about, that's eventually going into. High Point offers an oncology elective, and that is something that I really want to do and merge with my passion for marketing. And so I'm going to be able to speak more upon the oncology clinical background because I've taken that extra elective. So if that's a route that you guys have at your university, I highly recommend doing that. That way you're able to really merge the industry business acumen that you have, plus the clinical knowledge that you're developing while you're in these next 4 years. And then I am a PharmD MBA student. So if you have the means and your program offers that, I highly recommend getting the MBA. I came into pharmacy school with no type of business acumen. Like, I literally did not know nothing. But this program really has helped me develop myself. I feel like, I mean, I've taken healthcare business strategy now. I understand organizational behavior. And these are really things that I'm going to be able to use and transfer into the industry world. But if you aren't able to take an MBA for whatever feasible reasons, or your program just doesn't even offer it, certifications are an amazing tool that are literally sometimes free online. I highly recommend using that. There are certifications that are focused towards building drug and development background. There are certifications in digital marketing that I've seen like literally everywhere, and then like sales. So if there's any of those things that are appealing to you, I highly recommend doing that. We're gonna definitely be talking about certifications later on. Like someone said, LinkedIn Learning, yeah, those are huge. Like I would definitely utilize that, because that does look great on a CV, but it's also a background toolbox. Like, you know, adding to your toolbox, you have that knowledge, more knowledge on that topic than you did before. So I said all of that to say that I hope I've really kind of motivated you to really strengthen your clinical foundation in your hopes to kind of join the pharmaceutical workforce. And I just want to say, for those P4s who are about to go into the industry and are looking to apply for fellowships or jobs and don't really have any industry experience, I just really want to tell you that you should just be confident that you have just had 4 years of strong clinical and academic training. You are a medication expert, and if you are able to leverage that correctly, that's going to take you very far in the recruitment process. So I hope that brings you guys comfort. Alrighty, we can go on to the next slide.
Perfect. And so really, before we even get into the slide, I just kind of wanted to piggyback off of what Milka said, and that's just if you're a P4 and not having experience. So on my journey, I've run into a lot of people, and a lot of what I've been hearing is it's all about how you leverage yourself. So, I mean, you can literally just be coming in, you can have so much retail experience. For instance, like I've been working in a retail pharmacy for about 5 to 6 years now. And if I were to be a P4 and have no pharmacy or no industry experience, what I will be trying to become, or the point that I'd be trying to come from, is that I have retail, or I have experience on the consumer side of pharmacy. I know how it works. I know when it comes to ordering medications, I know how the patient reacts to these actual medications. So literally, it's all about leveraging yourself. It doesn't really matter if you don't have the experience, and that shouldn't be a reason why, or a deterrent from keeping you from kind of taking that next step to industry. And moving straight to industry, you have a number of different type of organizations. So there are a few organizations that's kind of focused specifically towards industry, and though those numbers are kind of smaller than the ones that's non-industry focused, they're still out there. For instance, of course, you have your IPHO. That's the one. IPHO is exclusively, or industry pharmacy organizations. Let me not use abbreviations. That is exclusively dedicated to just kind of advancing the careers of students as well as industry pharmacists. Then you kind of have the more focused organizations, like they have your AMCPs and you have your ISPORs, which I just kind of found out not too long ago. So yeah, so much out there for students. AMCP, of course, we know that's more so kind of focuses mainly on like patient insurance, or on the patient, just pretty much ensuring that there's access to kind of like high quality medication and at an affordable price as well. And then you have your ISPOR, which is I had to even look this one up. I wasn't too sure about it. It's the international. No, really, I literally just found this out not too long ago. It's pretty cool that they have it though. It's the International Society of Pharmacoeconomics and Outcomes Research, which that is a particular functional area in pharmacy or industry, and it kind of just focuses straight on that. And gaining experience in the industry world is tough. We won't sit here and lie like it's an easy thing. We have been fortunate and blessed enough to kind of get those experiences, but even for us, it wasn't easy. And so taking advantage of opportunities like this that kind of give you those experiences and give you something to talk about is very crucial and very pivotal for any student.
And then adding on to that, non-industry focused organizations are also great opportunities for students to really get involved in. Of course, we're going to plug in SNAPA, the Student National Pharmaceutical Association, because that is how we met. But also other organizations like ASHP, APHA, I think there's like SSCP, like there's so many other organizations that are more so clinically focused, which kind of just piggybacks to what I was mentioning to you guys earlier about applying that clinical knowledge that you've learned in the classroom outside of the classroom. those experiences when you're with these organizations and you're outside doing those healthcare screens and you're talking to patients, those are going to be those valuable moments where you're really learning. Like, you're a student pharmacist, like you're out there making an impact on your community, and that's what you're going to speak to when you're in those interviews, and they're asking you questions about, like, again, like your difficult time with the patient, or when you're in an office space speaking with professionals who want insight on your clinical experience. You're going to call back and recall those moments when you were with APHA out here, I don't know, doing blood pressure or something. I definitely think that these are some great moments with these organizations. And then, you know, I think value them. IPHO is great. The other industry ones are great, but also ASHP, APHA, like they all offer great things about it. And SNAFA as well, they are now incorporating more industry focused opportunities in SNAFA as well. So definitely join SNAFA if you haven't. I'm gonna just go ahead and plug that in again. Okay.
And
Yeah. Also, one other thing I just wanted to plug in about the non-industry focused organizations, and we do have a lovely representative that is here today, and she's been so helpful in the chat, is to join other external organizations, not just the Pharma Collective. There are a lot of resources that inspired us to be who we are today, and also continue to inspire us and support us. So there are two groups that especially have made differences for us, and that would be PILS, PILS, and then Our Excellence, which are great. Blunt Careers is also a great resource, and that's something that we are definitely planning to share during the internship series and helping you navigate that. But yeah, definitely join other groups, follow other Instagram accounts so you can get more information.
yeah, and Haley is actually really dropping a lot of gems inside the chat right now, because even Blimp Careers, that's something that we even touch on, and they have. That's how I found my internship actually was through Blimp Careers. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of different tools out there, and she also said it's tough, but it's not impossible. And I should have made that point, because yeah, these opportunities are hard, but definitely not impossible. Clearly not. We're not the first, and we're not the last. We won't be the last to get these internship opportunities. So yeah, kind of like everything everyone's been saying. But once you kind of have these leadership, or once you kind of get into the organization, that's one thing, but it's totally different it's totally different from kind of taking on a leadership role in these opportunities. One of my mentors kind of always says, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And that's all facts, because you don't know how taking a leadership experience or taking a leadership opportunity is going to change you as a student, as a woman, a man or a woman. It kind of just, it really elevates you. It kind of takes you to a different place. And first and foremost, to give you that experience, you know, with these interview questions, and we're, at least me, let me only speak for myself, very, very post-school minded. So anything I do, I'm thinking about the interviews, I'm thinking about trying to get a fellowship. So in taking these leadership opportunities, of course, whenever you're taking these interviews, you're going to get those behavioral questions. Everybody gets it, no matter the type of interview you're doing, no matter what you're trying to get into. It's the, tell me about a time that you had to be a leader. Tell me about a time that you had a tough opportunity and you had to prove yourself, or show how you came out of that. Something along those lines. And this is what gives you those experiences. And I feel like they can always kind of tell when you're lying. You know, you can always, you can't make something up. You can be a great liar, great on your feet, but it's better just to be able to actually speak to these opportunities, and taking on these leadership roles kind of gives you something to speak on. And just more than anything, and of course, it's more than an interview, but it just kind of helps you grow professionally as well.
And I do kind of just want to add on to that. Let's say that you're at a newer program like mine was, or you're at a school that doesn't really have an organization that you're just really have a burning desire to join. Go ahead and take that initiative. Start it. I started IPHO at my university because industry is super passionate to me, and I didn't feel like it was taught enough at our clinically focused university. Research what it takes to start a chapter. Go to the national website, see what it takes. Some require you to develop a constitution, have like a fully committed executive board, a letter of intent, even like universities' approval. Some universities even have their own requirements for starting a chapter, like becoming an interest group first or something like that. So double check between your university and the national organization how you can go about doing that. But it's extremely worth it, guys. It's super, if it's feasible to you, I think that it would just show that you have just amazing leadership skills, ambition, that you're persistent, your ability to communicate effectively, coordinate, and execute. You will gain so much transferable skills, honestly, and you'll definitely be able to speak upon that when you're into these interviews, like again, and also being able to use those skills when you're in the future. I highly recommend it if it's possible for you.
Yes. And one thing I wanted to add too about leadership roles, I think prior to pharmacy school, when people, or one thing that I've heard and also experienced myself is when you hear of leader, you think of usually one thing, right? You think of one person leading the group in front. You think of the CEO of a company or the president of a group. And that's not always the case. You can be a leader in every position that you're in. You can be a leader as a general member wanting to lead a healthcare event. You could be, at my school, we use these terms called big L and little L. And it really helped me to understand that everyone contributes to the final result. So you can have a big L position like a president, a vice president, a leadership, like executive board member, but also as a little L, as of like, I pretty much only think in SNAFA for the most part. So as a bridging the gap chair or a project keepsake chair or something along that, you're still contributing to the overall mission and purpose of the group that you're a part of, and you're still able to build those soft and hard skills while also leveraging yourself to show that you are taking initiative. So I just wanted to put that out there, that when we say leader, we're not just saying become the president of something. Always make sure that the things that you're applying for and the things that you are doing align with your own goals for your career, and do things for yourself, and do what works best for you.
Mhm.
I think we move to the next slide.
All right. All right. So I know they just kind of like loaded a lot of gems on y'all from the clinical aspect, the school aspect, but you know, just this slide kind of piggybacks off of what Tatiana was just talking about. Big L, little L, like it just basically forming your circle. And let me just try to get a couple of engagements real quick. If you have had the opportunity to gain a mentor or a friend group that has helped you throughout your pharmacy school career so far, I just need y'all to drop like a little yes, sir in the group chat, because I ain't gonna lie, having a friend group that can help you throughout pharmacy school is a blessing. So I just need to see, like, you know, if y'all had the opportunity to have that so far, then you are blessed. Because I mean, if you can't get through pharmacy school by yourself. It's not a competition. It's definitely a family, or formerly, let me put it that way, but definitely have those people in your support group, form a circle around you. And I know I see this chat blowing up, so that means yeah, y'all doing a good job. So let me just start off with the mentor aspect. For those who are still like open to like what functional area they are and they want to go into with industry, I feel like you should have a mentor in each area. That person could probably offer you the details of what their role is, or they could just, you know, put you on to somebody else who's in a functional area that you might want to, but definitely have a mentor who's in that industry aspect. Have a mentor who's in your school, have a mentor outside of school, you know, I feel like have a mentor at every aspect of your life. So because those different people bring different views into you and build you up as a person. So you can impart that knowledge onto somebody else. And like I said, mentors could go into pharma professionals, you know, coaches, professors, even your peers sometimes could be a mentor. You know, coming into school for me, I definitely looked up to majority of the P3s that was here at Howard, probably some of the P4s, definitely looked up to them because the way they approach school was different from what I was used to. So definitely looked up to them as a mentor. But that circle around you, and as we highlight the you, that circle is very important as you go through school. Even after school, that circle is very important because you might never know who might be in a role that you might be trying to get, or who's at a company that you might be trying to interview for a position. Anything can happen, you know? But definitely that circle is a beneficial part of your pharmacy school journey. And like I said, if you don't have a support group, or if you don't have a circle of friends, classmates that you could really sit down to or talk to about what's going on in school and outside of school, then, you know, I need y'all to get on the ball game with that kind of. But definitely try to develop a circle, right? Creating and maintaining meaningful relationships, right? All throughout your pharmacy school journey. Even before pharmacy school, I probably had mentors who I could talk to about what I wanted to do, what I've set out in life for me. And they probably helped me the most. My mentors in pharmacy school have helped me also. For example, like for majority part, most of us just got done with internship. I know Matt is still in his, but definitely I found a mentor at my internship. And that was probably the best part of my internship, because I didn't know that this guy was going to be my mentor. You know, all it really starts with is just shooting a message like, hey, I really appreciate what you've done for me during the time. Do you mind if we establish a mentor-mentee relationship? Guy say yes. And that's probably the best thing that's happened to me during that internship. Like I said, yeah, just create that circle. I mean, does anybody, I mean, let me actually get some engagement. Does anybody want to have does anybody want to talk about their circle of friends real quick? Like from the audience? Like, just go ahead. You don't have to say their names or anything, but just tell about a time that it kind of helped you throughout pharmacy school.
I can actually attest to that.
Yeah.
Well, I go to middle of nowhere, Shenandoah. So I did start off with you know, being around a PWI where there's only very little amount of, you know, our representation and things like that. So it was hard at first because I felt like I went to a white coat ceremony. I'm like, oh my God, like, is there anybody looking like me out here? You know, and it was pretty difficult. But then I found 3 girls, and I mean, we are like riding and dying it right now. Like, it is definitely very helpful. There are times that you need to study that you don't get it. Promise you, nobody knows everything. I am horrible when it comes to therapeutics, and they're great, and I'm great when it comes to pharmacology. Like, everybody is different. You definitely want to establish that. It was definitely great for me. I feel as though that I cried. There was a lot of crying because pharmacy school gets you there. You feel me?
Right.
There was a lot of the things that you probably didn't think that you'd be able to do. I was like, oh my God, am I even going to pass this class? You know, it's a lot of emotion. It's an emotional roller coaster in pharmacy school. If anybody tell me they went through pharmacy school with not one person, it's a goddamn lie, because that's ridiculous. Okay, so I do appreciate every single one of them, Kemi, Victoria, and Rashida. So they really like held it down for me, big time. All of them are in SNAFA, so it was really amazing. Trying to have that, having a support system is amazing as well. So I do agree on that.
Thank you. We appreciate that. But yeah, like you heard it, like Tola, I think you're P4 now, right?
Yeah.
I am a P4. I am actually looking
Right.
into the industry myself.
So that group got her through. She's almost at the end, and that group is still with her till this moment. So definitely have that circle. You know, you might never know how far you go with them, but they definitely will help you in your time during pharmacy school. And Haley actually just dropped a good point in regards to the mentors, those who got them through internships, whatever. Keep a consistent connect with them, because you might never know. They might be thinking about you, but they don't have the chance to reach out to you. So it's up to you to reach out to them while they might possibly be thinking about you. So definitely, you know, keep in contact with your mentors, peers, even after you graduate, everybody, just keep in contact with that circle. So let's just move right along.
Just to
And
piggyback off of
yeah,
Jeff said, sorry, Matt. Just to piggyback off of what said, it's really important to connect with people who are currently in the industry. There are only so much things that we understand from the outside looking in. I think it's really important to keep those connections all throughout your time in pharmacy school. And also because acquiring a job in pharma, it kind of stinks to say, but a lot of it is connections based. It's about knowing people and being able to talk to people so they can understand your passions and very, things like that. So I think it's the pharma professionals and the mentors are the most important things for you to have, and making sure that you're frequently reaching out to them so that it is a meaningful relationship and not just a transaction. Sorry.
No, all facts on that. And I was gonna just touch on because he said reaching out, and it doesn't have to be like a full check-in. It literally could be like a hey, how are you doing? Or it literally could be like, hey, I saw this and I thought I just wanted to get your opinion on it. Or it could be something simple like a Merry Christmas. It doesn't have to be like a crazy check-in. I mean, it's just keeping relationships. And there was another word on that page that I learned heavily in my internship, and that sponsorship, and what that is. I mean, because I didn't even know the difference. We're young. When you think of sponsors, you think of people paying for you, right? You think of someone kind of lame, but that's not what it is. It's really someone who's willing to speak on your behalf when you're not in the room, and that's beyond important. That type of having that relationship is having someone who's really going to bat for you. That's what you want. It's all about those. But yeah, we can go ahead and go to the next slide. I just want to touch on that.
Right. And I'm just gonna add one more point to Matt's point. That sponsorship is definitely crucial. If you have somebody willing to talk to others on your behalf, that means you're doing something right. You might not see it as you're doing something right, but definitely something that you're doing in your journey is phenomenal. Like I'm definitely a testimony of somebody speaking on my behalf with my internship, and it's going up from there. So that's. We just go move on to the next point. Definitely leverage yourself,
Yeah.
Joe said it's up and it's stuck. Okay. And can we all provide one thing that students can do when they feel like they're not competitive with their peers? Okay, so one thing, I really love this question, and the first thing that I think of is this kind of goes hand in hand with imposter syndrome. One thing that once I came to the program that I'm at, I walked in and I saw 150 other gunners, 150 other people who were the top of their class or doing amazing things, to where you're just like, well, dang, like I thought I was special and apparently I'm not, you know what I mean? So having imposter syndrome in pharmacy school is definitely something that's very real, to where you doubt your own beliefs, you doubt your talents and things like that. But I think the most important thing is to know that you're unique. Nobody is you. Nobody has your background. Nobody embodies the values that you have. And I feel like I was just telling the Pharma Collective this the other day. Me and Milka were actually having a heart-to-heart, and it's that comparison is the biggest thief of joy. So comparing yourself to others, comparing your journey to another person's journey is not going to get you anywhere but behind. So it's just very important to understand that what you're going through, your own successes and your own failures are specific to you and to your path that you're destined to have. So I hope that answers your question a bit. And also, again, using your circle. I had moments where I was talking to my friends and I was just like, I feel terrible. I cannot get an internship, or I cannot get this infectious disease right. Like you just feel like, sometimes you need that encouragement from your friends who truly know the person that you are and understand, everyone goes through that moment to where they have self-doubt, and that's healthy. And also, we're your resource now too. So if you ever need anything, feel free to reach out to one of us as well.
I echo everything she just said. I was going to say the same exact thing. Reach out to friends that you know that you can be honest and real with. I'm so blessed to have these three right here, to be able to go to them. I was going through that same exact thing this week, literally. Being able to have people to just remind you of who you are and what you stand for and all the hard work in, because you forget it. You forget it sometimes, and it gets you like frustrated, and you get into this place where you're really comparing yourself, and it's not healthy because you put all this hard work in. So just know that, and I'm so happy that we have made this platform, because now we can be a resource to you guys and really connect with you please feel free to reach out to all of us. Like, I'm pretty sure we've been through it all too, just like y'all have. We're in the stick and the muds right now with y'all. So please reach out to us for sure.
Exactly. Okay, so this is one of our last few slides that we have. I'm gonna kind of go through it a little quickly, but if you guys have any questions, let me know. I just want to respect y'all's time. I know that we're all students and we all have other things that we have going on as well. So leveraging yourself, that is another way to stick out from the skill sets that you have and things like that. So we're definitely in a post-COVID or maybe still kind of current COVID situation right now, but I think we can all agree that our social climate has definitely changed throughout this time, and that there is a strong importance of maintaining and elevating your digital presence. For all those who don't know, your digital presence is your footprint. Nothing is truly private. And if a company or an important stakeholder wants to access information about you online, they will do it. They will find a way. So who you show up as on your social media, LinkedIn, or any thing that's online is your first impression. And with that, like, how many of you have gotten ready to formally meet somebody, whether it's going into an interview, a date, hanging out with a friend, you look them up on LinkedIn or you look them up on Instagram? I know I do it every single time. Mm-hmm. In fact, like, we are usually advised to do this when we're prepping for interviews. Look up your interviewers, research them, make sure that exactly what's your IG, look them up, and making sure that you have a background. So it only makes sense if it's happening on the other side. So to leverage yourself, I think it's really important to first start by keeping an up-to-date CV or resume. I think CV would be most appropriate for where we're going, but also having your resume is important too. And this will definitely help when you have unexpected opportunities that may arise, and also so you can be prepared to speak on those experiences. And it's best to update your CV every 1 to 3 months. And it largely depends on the time of the year, for me personally, of when you're doing that. So for instance, I usually update my CV every month during the spring months, or when I'm being appointed or elected into new positions for the upcoming year. But in November, when things are a little slower and I'm working on my current positions, I'm a bit more established in my roles and don't really have to make a lot of changes. So sometimes I, wait to decide to clean it up later on. LinkedIn goes right into that. I think to a certain extent, you should be treating your LinkedIn as a virtual CV. This is the platform to share your accomplishments and interact with fellow professionals and professional students. And I know that it can be really hard to talk about your own achievements because you don't want to seem like you're bragging, or you don't want to really show off. But if you don't show the world these big and little wins, like, who else is going to do it? How are they going to see it? So I think LinkedIn is also great in that is great for that, using the post function. And then also with the certifications that we spoke about earlier, there is LinkedIn Learning in Coursera. I'm more familiar with LinkedIn Learning, and LinkedIn Learning is really a great platform to utilize to gain your soft and hard skills, and they can be relevant to your interest in pharma. And examples of that I think I've taken before are like conflict resolution or project management. Okay, so next we're going to talk about personal and professional social media. A professional social media account is not required for everyone. I think that it's great if you want to interact with professionals at a more intimate level, but a lot of people have been successful without doing so. I think it's, just kind of what you want to do. For your personal social media, I'm a huge advocate of being your true, authentic self. I think it's really important that, yes, we are student pharmacists and future doctors, but also you're more than a doctor. You're more than a student. You're a person as well. Like, you're Milka, you're Tola, you're Haley, you're Liera, you're your own person. You're Amal. So I think it's really important to highlight that on your social media and still post what you want. But at the same time, you can post your hobbies and other things as a future pharma professional. But I think it's important to know that one day we will serve as the face of our future company, whether that's the fellowship or whatever. People are going to see you and say, like, oh, that's a fellow of Pfizer. That's a fellow of GSK, et cetera, et cetera. So whether you know it or not, you're a constant representation of your pharmacy program, your internship company, your student organizations, and all of that. So with that, I think it's good to just keep in mind the things that you post. Post what you want and post what makes you happy since it's your account, but do so with just a little bit of discretion. For me, I think it's really helpful that I have an accountability partner. She's also one of my closest friends in pharmacy school and my classmate. And I just try to think sometimes like, would I be okay with my future boss seeing this? And then also sometimes, I go out, I hang out as well. Like we're normal. We gonna go to clubs, we gonna do whatever. But sometimes like my friend will come and be like, I think this is for close friends. Like, I don't think this is for the regular story. And I do the same with her. So I think even with that, be careful what you post on close friends. And but yeah, be yourself at the end of the day. Let's see, Matt, did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
I was kind of just talking inside the chat. I know time's coming up, so I was just kind of throwing my opinions in the chat. But really, more than anything, I just kind of want to talk on that. Just being yourself. It's would take tastefully, of course. Just don't be afraid to kind of just show who you are, because at the end of the day, these companies they don't want to hire robots. They want personality. They want someone likable. So I mean, of course, still be yourself, but just do so tastefully. That's all. But that was all my other thing I was just trying to throw inside the chat, so we can keep it pushing.
Exactly. Okay, so for professional experiences, this can be internships, paid positions like Matt was saying, like a pharmacy tech position, but also working specifically with industry, even though it's a little harder to do at the per diem or part-time role. But if you do have that opportunity, and also with your appies, it's a great way to gain professional experience before you're actually there. You can kind of play around, and if you're interested in both medical affairs and HEOR, you can get maybe an HEOR experience and then, possibly venture out into that as well. So I think internships are also great because they provide real world experiences within the pharma industry, and they give students a better understanding of the expectations, roles, and responsibilities that are in each area, because they all are very different in certain areas. We all had the opportunity to complete internship experiences, and I feel like we all were just talking about how much it's really helped us at better understanding pharma. And with this, like, we're not going to go too in depth on internships just quite yet, because we plan on spending the entire month of October preparing and helping people to get these paid positions, these internships or per diem opportunities, and help you to be the best candidate in the next cycle.
So we've said it so many times. I know you guys know, but we only say it because we mean it. We want you guys to be engaged. We want this to be fluid, to be a conversation between you and us. And we've finally figured out a way where we think that we can better reach to you guys directly. And that is now that we have a listserv. We really want this to be a tool where we can kind of just share with you reminders of when our content's about to come up, when we're about to have a live show. When our live shows are recorded, we want to send you that link to that YouTube channel, because we have a YouTube channel now. And then we'll also be giving out some tips and tricks that we've personally learned along the way, that we're not just going to be giving out to people who aren't on the listserv. So we really hope that you guys utilize this. You guys get first access to it. Tatiana, I think, just put it in the chat. So please fill it out. This is going to be a great thing where you guys can directly communicate with us straight away. And you also, again, still have our Instagrams, but there's so much content that's going to come out via listserv. So please be looking forward to all that. That is great to come. And more surprise on the next slide, which we've kind of been hinting at.
Yes, which we've been kind of talking about and hinting about the whole time. But you may or may not know that October is the start, the official beginning of internship season, and there is no better place to start than with the Pharma Collective. So we kind of planned out a number of CV, letter of intent, as well as interview prep workshops that's going to be coming from pharma professionals, and that's going to be willing to kind of share their hiring expertise. So definitely be on the lookout for that. We also plan on starting to ask those who have completed an internship to kind of just send us a short clip that highlights your experiences throughout throughout your internship that we can begin posting on our page. So be on the lookout for both of those. October is going to be a big month for us, so just stay tuned and stay with us.
All right, so we just want to thank God for staying tuned with us throughout the end of the time. Now, if y'all have any questions or if y'all have any concerns, this is the time to voice them. We're here for y'all, and also we're here to impart knowledge, impart insights, what we've been through. So if you have any questions, now is the time to unmute yourself. If you want to show your face, go ahead. I know some of y'all might be looking a little, from classes, but I'm not gonna say all that.
That's the bonnet for me. It's a bonnet all day long.
And this is questions, answer, or discussion. Doesn't even have to be a question. If y'all just want to drop or say anything at all, this is literally the time. I know it's already 7, but we can take a few more minutes just for any comments at all.
Hi, this is Haley from Our Excellence. I just wanted to say you guys did a fabulous job. And it's nice to see like you guys give back now, especially so like early on in school. Well, I don't know what year you guys are, but I think that is so key to start early and just inform people, because I know I come from Florida. I went to FAMU and they didn't really have IPHO until I graduated. So it's nice that you guys did that. And I love how interactive you guys were with the polls and some of the gems you guys dropped. It's really key. It may be cliche, but it's really key.
Thank you so much, Haley. That really means a lot. Your constant engagement and encouragement. Like, thank you. We look up to Our Excellence and all that you're doing. So we love to see it. Thank you.
Anytime.
For your stuff too. So
anytime.
And real fast, I do see your question, Takara. And so I'll be the first to touch on that. And her question is just kind of in our own words, can we just give a brief explanation of what industry pharmacists do? And that's a difficult question because it's a lot. So as a PharmD, we have the opportunity to kind of make an impact in pharma in so many different ways. So it really just kind of depends on the functional area that you're interested in. I've been super heavy on medical information. So I mean, I can speak to everything, but I know I can speak best to that. Not medical information, but medical affairs rather. So with medical affairs, there's many things you can do. You can do medical information, and that's just kind of long story short, they're the ones who work on like the products. They worked on like the information that's being put out on a product. A lot of like what they do is kind of like marketing as well, because they deal with they're fact checking. Think of it like that. Like, those statements like, vedolizumab is the #1 whatever in the world. They're the ones checking that fact, making sure like, okay, it's okay to put that. Upon many other things that they do, of course, CRDs, SRDs, and these are things that we can touch on and will touch on throughout our time here. But that's one thing. Of course, you have your MSLs. Those are kind of like I like to think of them as the interpreters. So they can take difficult information and make it easier, or they can make a simple topic and make it scientific. But they're usually the bridge in between the commercial side of pharmacy and the clinical trial side of pharmacy. And of course, you have AML, which is just like an MSL, but just more so on the managed care. So that's more so on they're the ones who's trying to get drugs to formularies. They're the ones who's speaking on these products. And that's just in the medical, and there's so much more in the medical affairs side as well. But your question is, there's a lot to your question. I can just say it like that. And I don't know if anybody else wants to chime in on that.
Yeah, so there's a link that I just dropped in the chat. And it was actually one of the first posts that we created. And it was just kind of highlighting the different cross-functional areas that are within pharma, and also the different opportunities that some student pharmacists can have in order to get into this space. So hopefully that will help you a little bit too, to get a good idea. But also we've had one-on-ones with some students, just asking for our advice or asking for some of our experiences. So if you do want to have a one-on-one with one of us, like, feel free to either message the Pharmaco, or we also have our personal social media accounts. We're tagged in like most of our posts. So if you want to talk to someone specifically about an area that we have interest in, feel free to do that too. We would love to impart that knowledge on you as well. But I think the first step should be to look at that post that we have about learning about some of the different areas within pharma.
Also, just adding on to that, IPHO and some of these other resources and organizations also offer like really nice breakdowns of everything as well. If you want, if you read those in like what's on our post and you want to learn a little bit more, kind of go in again a little bit more. Yeah, IPHO is a great resource that kind of just has all that information at one place as well. So I definitely will look at that as well.
All right.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I will. Yep. Okay. Do we have any other questions? Oh yeah, also our Excellence does career facts, and they interview people on Instagram in different functional areas. So that's another resource that y'all can have as well.
Yes, please follow them on LinkedIn, Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great resource.
And we know that we've kept y'all here for a good amount of time. So if you guys want to have other things that you have going on too, we will not